Testing, testing.
Okay. Everybody's on? We've got a full boat. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. It is 3:01 p.m. Due to COVID-19, this will be a virtual Committee of the Whole meeting. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments on agenda items have been submitted by noon Monday, June 8th, 2020, and will be included in the minutes. Comments are limited to 300 words per comment, and the commenter should provide their name and address for the record. And as an aside, the clerk has advised me that as of just a few minutes ago, no public comments had been received, either as to a specific item on the agenda or in general. Madam Clerk, I understand that all members of council are either present in person or online for this virtual meeting, correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals? None? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the May 12th, 2020 Committee of the Whole minutes. Moved by Councilman Shelley.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roth. Is there any further discussion? None appearing. Would anyone wish to be recorded as a no vote on this matter? None appearing. We'll have the record reflect this. The minutes were approved unanimously. Next item, tab 2, motion to place car number 2885 on the council agenda, the approval of establishment of an auditor selection committee. Is that you, Madam Manager?
No, it's me, but
Oh,
your mic.
I've got the control again. Okay.
No, I'm on, but you need to be off. You just need to be off. Okay, perfect. Sorry, Mayor. Yes, that's me. This is actually for a selection process for the external auditor. Florida Statute Section 218.391, Auditor Selection Procedures, requires the use of an auditor selection committee when selecting an independent auditor to conduct the annual financial audit of the city accounts and records as required in Section 218.39, Annual Financial Audit Reports. The purpose of the committee is to establish factors to use for the evaluation of audit services to be provided, publicly announce requests for proposals, evaluate the proposals, and recommend firms in order of preference to the City Council. Florida Statute Section 218.391 requires that the chair of the Auditor Selection Committee be a member of the City Council and prohibits city employees, the city manager, or the city's chief financial officer from serving on the committee. So essentially, this is setting up a selection committee, and the law requires certain individuals to be on it and not city staff. So staff is recommending that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution establishing a 5-member auditor selection committee and appoint a chair of the committee as required by Florida Statutes 218.391, Auditor Selection Procedures. Staff recommends that the following individuals, in addition to the appointed chair, serve on the committee: Desmond Chin, Finance Director, Village of Palmetto Bay; Allison Love, Assistant City Manager, City of Delray Beach; Holly Hugdahl, Finance Director, Villages of Miami Shores; Jeanette Smith, Chief Financial Officer, City of North Miami Beach. And actually, Mayor and Council, the law requires that there be 3 people on the committee, the chair plus 2 others. So this group of people is a group of people that our finance director knows and has recommended. All 4 do not have to be on it. And if there's any change, if it goes to 3, or if one of these can't do it, we can bring that back, pull it off consent at the council meeting, and talk about it then. And also, we've requested they all send their resumes, and I think we have 2 of the 4, if I'm not mistaken, Carlos, and we will forward those to you as soon as we have all 4, before the council meeting next week.
Okay, thank you. And as an aside, in addition to approving some or all of these recommendations, the council needs to nominate and approve a chairman from among the elected officials.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Which you can do now, and it can be part of the consent agenda, or if it changes, if we pull it for the council meeting.
Okay. Any questions or comments or a motion for approval of these initial 4 names? Councilman Shelley?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The city manager kind of addressed some of my concerns, but that was one of them, was getting some sort of background information on the actual people that we'd be appointing. I mean, I recognize some of the names, but some of them I don't know anything about. So I think it would be good to get some sort of background, whether it be a resume or some sort of other documentation or recommendation information that shows what their experience is, why they'd make a good chairperson, or not chairperson, but a good committee person. And then the only other question too, as far as the role in which this committee plays, obviously they helped us select the internal auditor. But then once they make that process, or what do they?
I'm good? Yeah. Councilman Shelley, yes, the only purpose of this is just for the selection. Once that process has been approved by the council, that's it. There's no more other purpose for this committee. It's just an auditor selection committee.
So they are selecting the auditor. We make a recommendation, or are they making the recommendation?
They're making the recommendation to the council. The council ultimately makes the decision, but that's it. Once the auditors are selected, that's it. They serve no other purpose.
They don't do any additional, they don't weigh in on the audit, they don't have any they don't have any type of, I guess, opinion on the processes, procedures. It's just strictly to make sure that an independent process has been followed to get the auditor on, so it's an independent auditor that's going to provide information to the public or the council accordingly.
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you, and as I understand it, obviously in the past, we've advertised, so we have the template for that, but this committee establishes the parameters for the scope of service and oversees the advertising, but we've done that in the past, in-house.
Exactly, Mayor. They'll go through that process, and obviously we'll assist as needed. They'll go through that process, and just like any other recommendation, it'll come to council for a decision.
Okay, thank you. Well, Councilman Shelley, would you like to move this forward, subject to receipt of the background information?
Yeah, I'd be fine with moving it forward again, as long as I have the information before it becomes official.
All right, so we have a motion. What's that? Motion by Councilman Shelley to move these four names forward, pending receipt of the resumes and any other background information on the individuals. Do we have a second or any further discussion on this?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Is that Ms. Avila? A second by Councilwoman Avila. Any further discussion? Would any member of council wish to be recorded as a no vote against moving this forward? None appearing. It's unanimously approved. We'll move it forward. Now I would ask for a voluntary or involuntary by motion volunteer from among council to serve as the statutory chair of the committee. The statute, as I understand it, requires that one of the 7 elected officials be designated to serve as the chair of the committee. Councilman Fletcher, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Did I hear a yes?
I'm here. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, you've lived through financial crisis. Would you accept a nomination to serve as chair? Does your job situation at this point allow you to take some time out to serve as chair of a couple of meetings?
Yes, sir, it does. I'd be honored.
Thank you. Would someone wish to nominate Councilman Fletcher to serve as chair of the audit committee?
I will.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. And I'll second that. Would anyone wish to be recorded as a no vote on the motion to designate Councilman Fletcher as the chair of the audit committee? None appearing. Councilman Fletcher, congratulations and condolences.
I look forward to the challenge.
Okay, next item, tab 3. Motion to place car number 2752 on the council agenda. Increase the spending limits for ITB number 2018-13 underground electrical task bid. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. At the July 25th, 2018 council meeting, the City Council authorized the city manager to award ITB 201813 unit pricing for electrical underground to the lowest responsive bidders, Oscar & Sons as the primary contractor and Enterprise Electrical Contracting, Inc. as the secondary contractor for a term of 3 years. The award included a cap on expenditures for work performed under the bid of $390,000 for the term. The city had budgeted funds for work included in the CIPs in excess of the $390,000. Staff requested the council increase the cap on expenditures for work performed under the bid to $3.9 million for the term of the contract. And for clarification purposes, Mayor and Council. What originally happened when originally went to council, it should have been a $3.9 million cap. Each year, up to $1 million, even sometimes more than $1 million is budgeted for this item. And this is on-demand work in accordance with the budget. So for example, in 2018, the budget was $804,000. In 2019, the budget was $1.2 million. Though the budget was 1.2 in 2019, $787,000 was actually spent. In 2020, the budget is $1 million. So it was actually a Scribner's error back then because that $390,000 was much lower than is budgeted. And the reason it was realized now is because procurement, they would look at the budget because this is the way this is processed is as needed within department budget. And because the numbers in those years were always within the department budget, it was processed. So we stopped processing the invoices for 2020 once we realized this and wanted to bring it to the council's attention. So staff is recommending that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to increase the purchasing limit for work performed under invitation to bid 201813 from $390,000 to $3.9 million.
Thank you, Madam Manager. So again, to clarify, this is not an out of the clear blue tenfold increase. This was what was intended back in 2018. Just
That's
for
correct,
everybody
Mayor.
listening and watching. Yeah.
That's correct, Mayor, and we're just cleaning up that error. Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So for my edification and amazement, can you give me an example of some of the things that have been done that we would recognize and what maybe we're anticipating going forward?
Yes, we can. We can, and I know Julio and also Barbara can speak to that as well. And Barbara, you're welcome to jump in now, but this would obviously include underground work that's happening right now for the Campbell Drive improvements, and also work that was done at the Cybrarium. And if you want to add to that, Barbara.
Yes, also, excuse me, also new construction work, new subdivisions, new infrastructure for those subdivisions and for new commercial customers. We also performed undergrounding of portions of the circuit along Chrome when that circuit was relocated, Campbell Drive, as was mentioned. Also the downtown area with the Homestead Station. A lot of the overhead facilities were placed underground. So those are some of the examples of the work that is performed under the task bid.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just, I really, still new to this session and just curious as to what some of those examples might be. And going forward, it's just, yes, on an as-needed discretionary basis then. Anything further from council? Entertain a motion to place this item on the council agenda. Moved by Councilman Shelley.
Second.
We have a second. Was that Councilwoman Bailey? Just want to be sure. Give credit where credit's due. All right. Anything further from council? Would any member wish to be recorded as a no vote on this matter? None appearing, the matter is passed unanimously. Next item, tab 4, motion to place car number 2914 on the council agenda, the Marine Theft Mutual Aid Agreement with Miami-Dade County. Madam Manager, is that you?
Thank you, Mayor. The Homestead Police Department maintains a number of bi-directional mutual aid agreements with other police departments, providing for assistance to be rendered between the departments when requested. The purpose of these type of agreements is to clarify and grant law enforcement jurisdiction by the agency requesting assistance to the agency rendering the assistance as provided for under Florida law. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a marine theft mutual aid agreement between the City of Homestead Police Department and Miami-Dade County. This is a 5-year agreement.
Thank you. Any questions for council? I just want to note that from what I've seen in presentations in the last couple of years, the theft of boats and motors and the related accessories is just a huge problem, both in this area and the Keys, and those bad guys traveling in both directions. So do we have a
And actually,
motion?
Mayor, this actually extends to Palm Beach County, Broward, and all the way to Monroe as well.
Right. We have a motion to approve this matter to be placed on the council agenda.
Move it.
Moved by Councilman Roth. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Shelley. Does any council member wish to be recorded as a no vote? None appearing. This matter is unanimously approved. How's the sound today, colleagues that are not here? Are we better than last time?
Better, I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
That sounds better to me, Tom.
All right. Well, if it gets to where you, please chime in and let us know so that everybody can take part. This big empty room creates quite a bit of echo here that we can hear as we speak. But thank you. All right. The next item is tab 5, a motion to place car number 2913 on the council agenda. It's a mutual aid agreement with the City of Florida City Police Department. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. The Homestead Police Department maintains a number of bidirectional mutual aid agreements with other police departments, providing for assistance to be rendered between the departments when requested. The purpose of these type of agreements is to clarify and grant law enforcement jurisdiction by the agency requesting assistance to the agency rendering the assistance as provided for under Florida law. The agreement allows for either agency to request assistance from the other when needed for large events, emergencies such as hurricanes or other disasters. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a mutual aid agreement between the City of Homestead Police Department and the City of Florida City Police Department. This new mutual aid agreement will extend the current agreement for an additional 5 years.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Do we have a motion to place this item on our next council agenda? Moved by Councilman Shelley. I think I heard a second from Councilman Roth. Anyone like to be reflected as a no vote on this matter? None appearing. It will be deemed to be reflected as unanimously approved and moved to our next council agenda. Next item is tab 6, a motion to place car number 2918 on the council agenda, a settlement of a claim with State Farm Insurance. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. A vehicle insured by State Farm Insurance struck and damaged city vehicle 13069, a 2013 Chevrolet Tahoe VIN 1GNLC2E00DR174796. State Farm has offered to pay the city a net sum of $22,128.25 for property damage. As a condition of this settlement offer, the city manager will be required to execute a release in favor of State Farm and their insured, as well as sign the title of the vehicle over to State Farm for salvage. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to accept the settlement offer from State Farm Insurance in the amount of $22,128.25 for damage to city vehicle number 13069, a 2013 Chevrolet Tahoe.
Thank you, Madam Manager. This is a welcome turn of events where we get paid rather than making the payment. So would someone like to move the approval of this matter? Moved by Councilman Shelley. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fletcher. Any council member wish to be recorded as a no vote on this matter? None appearing. This matter is unanimously moved to the next council agenda. Finally, tab 7, a discussion on car number 2919, the Race to the 4th event for July 4th, 2020. Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is seeking direction whether to proceed with the July 4th Race to the 4th event this year. And we had distributed to you, Mayor, and council members, a list of other municipalities and what they're doing, which I'm sure you have. If you'd like, I could read it into the record. Okay. So I'm going to read the jurisdictions who are not having an event. They've canceled their event. Miami-Dade County, City of Coral Gables, City of South Miami, City of North Miami Beach, Town of Cutler Bay, North Bay Village, Village of Palmetto Bay, Town of Medley, and Village of El Portal. And City of Miami is undecided. The Miami Shores Village may have a virtual event, but they have canceled their regular event. I don't know how you do virtual fireworks, but maybe it's on TV. But Town of Miami Lakes, they're going to have some fireworks at 2 different park sites that they'll stream on social media platforms, but those parks will be closed during the show. People will not be allowed to attend. The City of West Miami is undecided. They don't know what they're going to do yet. And the City of Doral is also going to have a couple of locations that they are also going to live stream. And those parks, those events will be totally closed to the public and to any gathering. And Town of Surfside, if beach fireworks are allowed, they will have a firework display. And that's the list that we have.
Okay, thank you. I know that for many years, our traditional venue has been the Homestead Miami Speedway with a festival-type event leading up to dark and the fireworks. Have we had any discussion with the Speedway about even its availability just for a limited fireworks show?
I did speak to the Speedway, and they indicated that they'll endeavor to do what the council would like.
Well, this is an item for discussion. Who would like to kick off? Councilman Shelley?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is one where I know staff's called and spoke to us a couple different times on this issue, and it's one where I'd love to have the fireworks. I think, to cancel fireworks is kind of tough to swallow. I mean, I think everybody wants to have some sort of normality and some sort of, normal annualized events in their life. The concern I always run back into, though, is everybody else has canceled their fireworks. And so my concern is not only, we will be almost one of the only games in town that has fireworks, and we'll be at a venue potentially that has the space, and we may end up finding that our normal 5,000, 10,000 people turns into, 50, 60,000. Who knows what could end up happening. Everybody may end up coming down south. And so that becomes I think a resource issue as far as trying to keep everybody socially distanced. I guess the concept I always thought about was, well, we'll keep everybody in their cars, instead of having the fireworks like they usually are behind the track, maybe they move it to a different location. Everybody's in their cars, everybody's kind of self-secured, but also knowing human nature, at some point it's hot, it's humid, they want to get out, they want to walk around, the kids want to stretch their legs, and before you know it, you've got everybody standing shoulder to shoulder or tailgating, and now you've also got a police enforcement issue. So I just think there's a lot of pitfalls. I'd love to figure out a way to make it happen and happen safely, but I also think that the chances of being able to do that are slim. So I've talked myself into it, I've talked myself out of it a bunch of different times, but at this point, I think I'm kind of more on the safest perspective is at this moment in time to possibly not have it, but then potentially have some sort of a celebration and put these monies toward that later on in the year when hopefully things are a lot more clearer as far as safety goes. So it's kind of where I'm leaning toward, but I'm open to further discussion from everybody.
Thank you, Councilman Shelley. Who else would like to weigh in on this?
Mayor Tyson?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. I feel that given the current climate and the state of the perception of our freedoms and what we should be celebrating, I think it's important that we still hold the 4th of July celebration. I think that it's a good message to send to the community, a message of unity. And I think that if we're able to have gatherings where people are still wearing their masks And it being the 4th of July weekend, many families are probably going to continue with their plans as usual to go down to the Keys and back. I can expect that we'll probably have an influx of additional attendees that may not have come because they would have been going to other places, but I would be welcome to see more attendees to our city, going to those businesses and enjoying the services that our community can offer with the social distancing in place and all that enforcement. So I'm in the position to be in agreement to have it continue.
Thank you. Now, to clarify to the manager, as I said, I think in the past, there's been kind of a festival event prior to the fireworks, and that's really not part of this discussion, correct? It's a discussion as to whether
Correct.
to produce the fireworks show, period.
That's correct, Mayor.
Thank you. Just to clarify that there would be no other amenity, food, drink, music, just
Correct.
come watch fireworks.
Correct.
Yeah, it's interesting, and at first, when I heard about and you clarified that others were closing their parks but doing fireworks, we've always had a traffic and parking on right-of-way issue and soggy rights-of-way this time of year. And I'm thinking that's, just with the potential that Mr. Shelley raises, and believe me, I agree with the councilwoman about that message and that symbol. We could be facing tens of thousands of more spectators than we've ever had, and I don't know that we can prepare for and accommodate that. Could potentially be more traffic than even a typical race weekend has.
Yes, Mayor, I also wanted to point out that we did look to see if we could possibly do it the way Doral was doing it, but the problem that we found is, for example, if it was in Harris Field, the neighboring area, there's so many parking lots around there where people would just come to, and it would encourage tailgating and partying and not social distancing, which we would have very little means to control because it would be, so much of it would be on private property. So we kind of thought that's not a good idea to do that. And we don't really have that central location where many people could see it from their home.
Thank you. Now, just to confirm, we've got to notify our vendor not later than,
June 12th?
which is
Friday.
into this week. Okay. Council, anything further?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is, I would tend to agree with both of my colleagues that it's something that people look forward to on an annual basis. However, based in the current condition that we all find ourselves in, I think it would be remiss if we went forward with this event and have the potential possibility of, expanding upon the current numbers of positive cases in the South Dade area. And I believe it's just not the right thing to do for public safety at this point in time. I would be in agreement to coming back at a later time in the year and doing a bigger celebration again, such as Councilman Shelley suggested, after we get out of this current situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fletcher. Any of our other colleagues like to weigh in?
I would just like to say that I'm also very nervous about all these numbers increasing, and as much as we want to, especially right now, do something that helps our community feel more united, I don't think it's the right time. I think that we should try to do something after we see what the second phase looks like, and have have a celebration after that.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Councilman Roth, anything to add?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm in agreement that we need to postpone. I feel bad because it is the nation's birthday and we all look forward to the fireworks. And I had gone over it in my head several times of how we could pull this off without the festivals and the Champions Club and stacking the stadium with 10, 15,000 people. And then I thought about the logistics of the parking lot and moving the fireworks to different areas, Councilman Shelley said. And then I also thought about the same thing Councilman Shelley thought about, was postponing it, using the funds that we have reserved for this event to have some other kind of a kickoff celebration as we enter or exit the third phase of COVID quarantines and all the things that we've been going through over the last 3-4 months here. And then you have the social unrest that accompanies the pandemic. So we have many social issues going on as it is, and to take away the patriotic theme of the 4th of July and the fireworks celebration, I think is hard to do, but I think it's something we kind of have to do with everything that's going on today. So I'm for postponing the fireworks for this year, and maybe moving it later into this year as things begin to ease up as far as the restrictions go. Thank you for the time, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I've been going back and forth with this, like my colleague, Councilman Shelley, because this is definitely an annual event that many in our community look forward to, and it's a hard pill to swallow not to even think of having it this year. And I thought about following suit with Doral and Miami Lakes and having a virtual ceremony where the park or the stadium is closed and the residents are able to view it on social media. But my experience over the years in my community, where my home is, the streets, all of those interior ancillary streets are just blocked off. It's hard to get in and out. And I feel that many would convene in those areas even if the stadium is closed. So that would create a code enforcement issue and a safety issue. But more importantly, I don't feel this event would be a symbolic representation of unity, because right now there are several in this community that aren't feeling life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness right now. So I'm not convinced that a firework display would bring the community together. There are a lot of fireworks already that needs to be put out. I'm not sure that this will help ease that. So I'm not in favor of moving forward with the firework display at this point for the reasons that I just referenced. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you to all my colleagues. It is a really difficult situation, and seems to me, Manager, that you asked for a discussion, and the vast majority of council sadly does not wish to proceed, but however wishes to do something as an alternative as quickly as it's appropriate to do something. Councilman Shelley?
Yeah, just not necessarily related to this decision-making process, but because of this decision, our community, even when we have our own fireworks, sometimes has some pretty grand neighborhood fireworks displays as it is. And so I think that there is some chance that, given that there is no official fireworks here in the city, or really in the county for that matter, for the most part, that we need to kind of take that into consideration on how we're going to possibly deal with, not trying to stop those events from occurring, because that's not what my message would be, as much as it is making sure that, to the extent that some of these professional fireworks are being launched off in the middle of our neighborhoods, that we're cognizant of what that effect might have on some of the neighboring houses and things of that nature, more so than those that buy the legal fireworks. So, because I know that happens a lot in our neighborhoods as it is. I mean, there's a lot of the, you think you have a professional fireworks show going on down the street. So I think that's just something that, staff should be aware of and figure out messaging ahead of time, just to make sure that if those types of events are taking place in our neighborhoods, that it's done safely or done legally. So.
Absolutely. I've certainly noticed that as our population has increased by leaps and bounds. I think the 4th of July starts on July 1st in many neighborhoods. And, I guess the continuing message is going to be stay safe. Yeah, on a lot of different levels.
And-
Manager, did you need anything?
I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, and thank the council. We share your disappointment. It is such a wonderful event for the city, but I think there'll be something in the future that will be a time to celebrate. So thank you all. It's much appreciated.
Thank you. Anything further from council? Councilman Shelley? Councilman Fletcher? No? Vice Mayor?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Roth?
Thank you. Just real quick, as far as us actually getting back together and sitting in council chambers, are we planning on being back together in July?
Yes, Councilman, our hope is to be back together for the council meeting in July, and that's assuming that the orders from the governor and from Miami-Dade allow such. But yes, that's definitely what we're hoping for.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Councilwoman Bailey? Councilwoman Avila?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Avila? Okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm not going to put the attorneys on the spot now, but it seems as though there may be a little conflict between the allowance of having limited capacity for public gatherings versus the rules we all have to live under for quasi-judicial. And for quasi-judicial hearings, you can't limit access, and that's been our issue for not going forward with virtual quasi-judicial. So I think those are some bugs that we're going to have to work out. Clearly, my goal and my hope is that we're up and running full steam by the time the July meeting dates roll around. But as I've been telling those who have inquired to me, and I feel quite certain that many, if not all of you, have gotten those same inquiries from those who have business or are interested in the quasi-judicial business that's going to come before us, that there's some failure to mesh the capacity rules with the rules that someone who doesn't like the outcome of a vote as a proponent or an opponent of a matter can use if access is limited for that. So let's keep that in mind, and I think as every day goes by, as these orders are amended and the numbers come in, we'll know. We still have a month or 5 weeks before we need to have a final set. Well, less than that because we've got to do advertising, I guess. But those are some of the issues, not for a routine council meeting, but for quasi-judicial matters. So with that, I think I heard Councilman Shelley move to adjourn, and I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our web